What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the No Name Podcast. Um, you know what we're doing. You know the vibes. Monday night football recap. You know we're gonna break it down. Talk about this Eagles offense and how worried Eagles fans really should be. Later in this episode, obviously we're gonna have to do updated QB tier rankings. Some QBs went up, some QBs went down. I mean, I count every game, every week. They're going up and down based on performances, like I said before. Um, this list is not based on talent. Remember that. I mean, this is just based on winning and just being an overall efficient QB. You know, what leads to wins. You know, someone like Kirk Cousins, top three in passing yards, but he's 0-3. So he's not very high on my list, Um, but that's nothing new. That's Kirk Cousins. He's not a winner. Shots fired. It is what it is. But before we get into anything else, play of the day. Currently 101 when I was sharing these or back in my first two videos. Haven't done it in a while, so we're going to get back into it. Play of the day, got to give it to him. Jordan Love over on his 231.5 passing yards. I mean, I think this is an absolute steal of a play. I mean, Geno Smith just last week against the Detroit Lions, 2 weeks ago against the Detroit Lions, went for 326 yards, absolutely hammered his prop. I mean, Mahomes went for 222 with no Travis Kelce, with the Kadarius Toney drops and the Sky Moore drops. I mean, we know how terrible that game was for Kansas City week one. So many drop passes, so many missed opportunities that could have just easily got Mahomes to that 270 mark, I believe is what his prop is hanging around at these days, especially week one. And Desmond Ridder, I mean, just last week he did go for 201 yards, but I do believe he's a 25 to 30-ish ranked QB. He's nothing impressive. I mean, they're 3-1 because of 2-1 because of that, two-headed monster. They got a running back in Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson. Obviously, you know how it is. They eat up the workload. They're 65% to 70% of that offense, and like touches wise, and it's great to see. But let's just not get it mistaken when Desmond Ridder is definitely the worst QB they played against. He's definitely not someone I would ever be scared to go against as a defense. But I mean here, the Lions 16th NFL in pass defense, averaging 225 a game to a QB. I mean, one of these division rivalry games, 231.5 is the number. Jordan Love is more than capable in that. I mean, we just seen what he did last week and week one against that Bears offense. Week two was a tough loss to Atlanta, but like yet again, that Atlanta defense I believe is a couple pieces ahead of this Detroit Lions defense. I mean, this Detroit Lions defense has been known for its defense issues in the past, and still can see a little bit of issues in that secondary to this year. So with that being said, hammer it if you want, hammer it if you don't. You gambling degenerates, hop on. Follow me if you want, follow me if you don't. This was a team that everyone saw coming in was supposed to be a Super Bowl contender, and everyone's been questioning their offense lately. I mean, I know I have. I know a lot of people have been talked about it. You hear it everywhere. Questioning the ability of Jalen Hurts. And one thing I want to say for sure is I personally am not questioning the ability of Jalen Hurts. I've heard it going around a lot. A lot of people are talking about how now defenses are really giving up that, they don't want to give up the big play, so they start playing deeper coverage. You got the DBs trying to prevent that big play, so they're not really coming down for that run game, which is clear as of why DeAndre Swift has back-to-back 170 the last week, 130 this week. I mean, you could see it, and it's not hard to tell. Yes, Jalen Hurts had the 2 INTs. I mean, this Buccaneers defense, don't get me wrong, is a good defense. They 4 turnovers to Kirk Cousins week one. Week two against Chicago just absolutely terrorized Justin Fields. This Buccaneers defense is good. It's still got a couple big veterans on that team, but for the most part, got some young pieces as well that are stepping up to the plate. And I mean, they play good football, so I wouldn't really take those 2 picks against him. I mean, the second pick he made was just an absolute insane play in the ball. I mean, it was just unfortunate. He thought he had a shot to Devontae Smith in the corner, and the DB just came out of nowhere, made an outstanding catch, and that's just part of football. I mean, you don't want to discredit for Jalen Hurts for something like that. He should, not be throwing that up. I mean, it looked Jimmy G-esque for a little bit. Not throwing no shade, but we all seen Jimmy G's 3 INTs, just, in no man's land a little bit. It wasn't that bad, trust me. At least he put up to 250 yards still. 277 yards still, excuse me. 1 touchdown, 2 INTs, like I said. But overall, I mean, this Philadelphia Eagles offense is starting to click. I mean, it's rolling. It definitely looked a lot better this week than it has in the past. Sure, Jalen Hurts didn't play flawless, but I mean, AJ Brown got active, 9 receptions, 131 yards. I mean, you had, like I said, DeAndre Swift go for another 130 yards only on 16 carries, which I thought was insane. I mean, listen, Kenneth Gainwell coming off injury, you bringing him back in, you're trying to get him in because, everyone in the beginning of the year, we knew Kenneth Gainwell was the lead back in this offense. So you in here, Kenneth Gainwell, 14 carries, 43 yards. Yes, he had one touchdown, but 43 yards on 14 carries, I think is a little, not something you like to see as an Eagles fan. But I mean, in DeAndre Swift's putting on. He's given his case on why he should, be considered the number one back in that backfield. And yes, a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're trying to play Jalen Hurts and not allow him to get these big plays, and that these defenses are respecting his ability to pass the ball. But at the end of the day, the Eagles' O line is, beefy up front. They're not afraid to get physical. That's how they want to play. This run game is where they want to go first. They're not. They're not scared. They are a run first team. So, and you have a run first team like that. You know what I'm saying? What I would do personally, give whoever got the hot hand at running back, just give him the ball. I mean, even in those couple of those ints, both those ints Jalen Hurts threw, I just felt were a little bit unnecessary. When your run game is so effective, you could just really just run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. If DeAndre Swift goes for another 180, he goes for another 180. There's no need to change the recipe for success. Obviously, Sirianni, AJ Brown was hot. You had one INT early for Jalen Hurts, so you're trying to get some offense going. I mean, for the most part, if you take away one of those INTs, he's had a pretty good game for most QB standards, But since it's Jalen Hurts, we got him on this higher pedestal, higher standards, and sometimes it's unfair, but that's what comes with being good. It's what comes with being paid. I mean, we know what he got paid. We know this team just made the Super Bowl, and he had probably his best game of his career in the Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes. The best time to have that game. And so it is what it is. But we're going to be more critical. But I mean, at the same time, when this offense is you were running the ball as successful as you want to run the ball, and you're trying to force feed another back who just came off injury. I know, yes, trying to get him hot, trying to get him going, but I think this DeAndre Swift could have had another 180 yards performance if he got enough touches. I mean, at the running back position, I see a lot of running backs, a lot of teams these days trying to equally share the touches in the backfield. But listen, if I understand giving your guy a break on a drive or a couple plays, and getting somebody in there to get your guy some fresh legs, but when DeAndre Swift is hot like this, DeAndre Swift is hot. I mean, he's hungry. He's shown that to you, and he's definitely a bigger body than Kenneth Gainwell. So I mean, he definitely can take more of a workload compared to Kenneth Gainwell. But I mean, overall, DeAndre Swift has just played phenomenal. I'm a big DeAndre Swift fan. I drafted him pretty high in the fantasy league last year. Didn't work out, as he messed up his ankle, was pretty much out all season. But I'm pretty high of him. I think he's a great player, and especially his ability to catch the ball. And he's done the complete opposite since he's been in Philadelphia, since he's got that opportunity. Yes, this game was pretty much in the bag. So I know Kenneth Gainwell probably got a few extra more touches than he should have. But I mean, at the same time, DeAndre Swift, if that man's hot, let him eat. If he's hungry, let him eat. I mean, this man was not touching the ball like this in Detroit. Let me tell you that. And I know he wants that ball. I know he wanted that ball in Detroit, and I'm so happy to see he's finally got that from him. I mean, Nick Sirianni's just plugged him into the offense when Kenneth Gainwell went down, and now you've just seen great success. And him being around Jalen Hurts, that mobile dual threat QB just opens up the run, because now as a defense, you still got to respect Jalen Hurts' running ability and his ability to get out the pocket and everything like that. So it's just opening up running lanes behind that big O line, that Philadelphia has, and they're just playing hard-nosed Philadelphia football. I mean, and there's no better team that can, have a couple look not good through weeks 1 and 2. Obviously, like we said, the turnovers in yesterday, but I mean, man, if they looked like they were starting to get together, but a couple bad opportunities, obviously, it's gonna hang high on their head, and we're gonna, Jalen Hurts got to be better in that sense. But for him, for the most part, man, if you got to run the ball 40 times a game as a team, you got to do it. I mean, that O-line can do it. You got 2 different running backs you can get in rotation, right? DeAndre Swift, like I said, 130 yards, 180 yards, back-to-back weeks. I mean, Phenomenal game, man. It's phenomenal play from him and just respectable. Definitely tipping my hat to DeAndre Swift, man. Talking about it's been everywhere, all over social media, all over every podcast possible. What's wrong with Joe Burrow? What's going on in that Cincinnati Bengals camp? What's the situation? Why is he looking like this? Why is he looking like that? I mean, it's self-explanatory. I mean, he re-aggravated his calf again, and he wasn't even supposed to play this week. I've already given my thoughts on how I feel they should treat him and sit him a couple weeks. Go, 3-4 weeks without Joe Burrow. Try to use that bye week to your advantage, get an extra week of rehab, recovery to get him closer to 100%. But I mean, man, he just did not look like himself, and we are not used to this type of Joe Burrow play. I mean, you could see it yesterday, was not able to really step into anything, take any shots downfield. I mean, yes, Jamar Chase had 12 catches for, 141 yards, okay, but Joe Burrow, for the most part, 26 for 49, just, not something we're used to, accustomed to seeing of Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow is one of those players where he gets put in a lot of 5 wide formations, empty backfield, using their elite deep receiving core and, trying to stretch the field out and trying to make plays. And when your quarterback, who not only has just got paid this, he's the most guaranteed money in the NFL, okay? He's the highest paid QB in the NFL as of right now. When your QB, the center of your offense, he's everything. Like I said, he runs a lot of his stuff out of empty backfield. He's not afraid to go 5 wide, okay? But his biggest gift is him, not his biggest gift, but one of his biggest, bonuses to his play, is his ability to use his feet, move, get out the pocket, avoid the rush, move in the pocket, get on the run, start using his legs a little bit. And you can clearly see that that's been an issue. I mean, he has just not looked the same since coming back week 1. I mean, you want to put a little bit of blame on lack of preseason time. I mean, him getting injured during training camp. But clearly something's wrong with Joe Burrow. Okay, it's evident. You could see it. You watch the film. You could see something's not right with him. And I mean, just the way his career has been, it's not a situation I would want to flirt with if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, if he's not healthy, he's not healthy. This is your franchise guy. This is one of the top tier QBs in the league. I mean, you've seen it year in and year out. They just come out here and they just perform, and they perform the biggest moments. I mean, no, there's nothing else I got to say. He goes head to head with Patrick Mahomes the last 3 years. And yeah, man, it's just frustrating to see because, the only reason they ended up losing the Super Bowl was Joe Burrow not having any O-line, not having any protection, all right, him getting sacked on the final play by Aaron Donald. And now you've seen a very similar situation yesterday. I mean, Aaron Donald came out, blew right through the middle of that O-line and just chased him down, threw him to the ground again. Okay, I mean, it's just, and the difference between now and then is now he can't move. That back foot's not giving him no power. He can't, do any of this stuff that we're accustomed to seeing Joe Burrow do. And it's scary because you're just flirting with serious injury. You're flirting with a possible Achilles injury, and that's never something that you want to see in a quarterback like him. So for the Cincinnati Bengals' sake, I really hope they, strap up, let this dude sit out, let this dude get healthy. Because, I mean, yes, he's a tough player. He wants to win. He wants to compete. He wants to play every week. He wants to be there for his team. But he can't be there for his team if he's about to be out for the next year because of Achilles injury. I mean, so sit him, rest him, do what you got to do. Do the Aaron Rodgers recovery, all right? Whatever you got to do. But, I mean, this man should not be playing next week. I mean, it is more than clear that he is not 100%. He is not that quarterback you paid all that money to. He is not the number 2 quarterback in the AFC. All right, top 3 quarterback in the NFL. He's not that guy right now. And it's clearly evident that he himself cannot make these plays. Joe Burrow, Joe Shiesty, whatever you want to call him, is used to making. All right, guys, you guys see it. I don't need to explain. If y'all watched my last video, y'all know where I ranked these QBs prior. After week 3, been a couple adjustments. I mean, for the most part, Patrick Mahomes staying at number 1. Again, still undoubtedly the best QB in the league. As much as I hate it, as much as I hate to say this and publicly put this out, but I mean, it is what it is. Lamar Jackson's going to stay right there as well with Joe Burrow right beside him. I mean, if there was another QB I thought I could bring up, I would have moved Jalen Hurts down. a little bit more. I am still gonna move him just for the just obviously it's undisputable. All right, Tua's got to come up. Tua's coming up right here. All right, to the number 3 spot in that A category. All right, Jalen Hurts for the time being, it's coming down to B. I mean, their offense does not look good. I mean, it's just, you've seen the struggles a little bit. I mean, this is not nothing to freak out about. It's through 3 weeks. Okay. I don't like having everybody on team A, tier A. Okay. Someone's got to come down. Someone's got to come up. When it's all well deserved, then, we'll go from there. Joe Burrow, just out of the respect for Joe Burrow, I believe he is who he is. Even with his Achilles injury, I know it's tough to sit here and say, yo, this guy's injured or he's going through some stuff. But listen, made it to the Super Bowl once, was one penalty away from possibly being back to and the Super Bowl again. And year after year, he's always going to battle with Patrick Mahomes for the AFC. I mean, his spot is well deserved. Okay, I think it's very respected. And Lamar Jackson, I just think that's one team who finally got some other pieces to really help evolve his passing game, right? And I mean, yes, they ended up losing to Indianapolis yesterday, but I mean, it just had to come with turnovers issues. All right. So with that being said, the turnovers is really what the key turning points for me, where Lamar should drop down 2-3. Because I mean, if you look at this list through 3 weeks, Tua has undoubtedly been, right there. I don't really like to, it's through 3 weeks, so it's not really like I'm saying Tua is the number 3 quarterback in the NFL right now, because I don't think that. I mean, he's got to get his praise for how he's performed through 3 weeks. I mean, you've seen him play a little bit more elite defenses later down the road. So if he does that against them, then that's a serious conversation I have to have. But as of right now, I think the spot's pretty adjusted. And then one of the QBs right here. I'm gonna start right here from the C tier. Jimmy G. I mean, I don't have to explain it. I'm going to bring him down just because he's won a game. He's going to be sitting right above all of these guys. I mean, I don't want to hear nothing about Mac Jones. His only win, and he played absolutely terrible. I mean, yes, it was against the Jets defense, and it was a rivalry game, but, I mean, it was just an ugly, ugly win. C.J. Stroud. I mean, the man deserves his flowers, his praise. He's coming up here. He's sliding up. All right. Then we got Daniel Jones. I don't really have to explain much more. Daniel Jones, he's just not look pretty. He's sliding down to the bottom of the C tier. All right. I think that's well deserved. Matthew Stafford also drops down to the C tier. After an explosive week 1, I really thought he was going to get things going and start elevating his game. And yeah, and I know he doesn't have Cooper Kupp, and the team's not the same. But I mean, I did expect him to play a little bit more. But I mean, just turnovers, 2 INTs in both the last games, just not something you want to see at QB. And actually, matter of fact, I know Derek Carr did get hurt. So this is no knock on Derek Carr, okay? He was unable to get back in that game and help his team win, all right? But what Jordan Love did yesterday was just a phenomenal comeback. I'm not making him go up crazy because, yet again, I understand the circumstances. Derek Carr gets hurt. Derek Carr doesn't get hurt. That game could never possibly happen, all right? But he did come back, score all his points in the last fourth quarter, all right? And they came back and won, and it was just a dominating performance. And with that being said, C.J. Stroud will also take a bump up. Anthony Richardson will stay right there for now. I mean, obviously he didn't play this past week, and his team ended up beating the Ravens with Gardner Minshew. So, that's a very well-rounded team. Deshaun Watson had one good game, so, we're going to give him some credit. We're not going to move him anywhere. We're just going to, see if he can keep expanding off that. I mean, Baker Mayfield, you've seen what he did against the Eagles. Didn't play very well, but, I mean, it is what it is. That's that's a Super Bowl contender team compared to a team that's not even supposed to win 9 games with Baker as their starting QB. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to give him a little leeway. 2-1 in the season, and you just lost to the dudes that just made it to the Super Bowl, all right? And so I'm going to give him his flowers, all right? I'm going to keep him there for right now. Kirk Cousins, 0-3. I'm going to leave him there just because of the fact, I mean, look, we know Kirk Cousins is more than capable of leading a winning team, and his defense hasn't really been there to help him out. But at some point, there's got to be some credit on him for the reason they're 0-3 right now. I mean, I can't believe it's just the defense that's, you know what I'm saying, that's costing all these games. Like, how do you put up numbers like this and still lose? And the same thing goes with the Chargers. That's why they're 1-2 right now, because their defense was not performing, but there was also had to do some offense issues, not being able to move the ball late in games, not being able to just extend drives and when you need it most, and all this stuff adds up. You have to play 4 quarters of football to be a winning QB, and I think Jordan Love, C.J. Stroud, and them are doing it better than some guys right now. I mean, man, it's just great to see. Geno Smith, I'm going to leave them right there just because the fact, I mean, these guys don't turn the ball over a lot. They can make the right reads. They make the right passes. I mean, they're leaders to both of these offenses. And, I mean, I think their spots are comfortable right there. Maybe they could pull off a couple big wins, a couple good games, and I could really move them up or down. But I mean, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think this is pretty honorable. Justin Herbert, I'm moving him up 2 spots above Trevor Lawrence, above Josh Allen, and with that being said, uh, it's going to be a little biased decision, but just based on how the year's gone, based on yes, they're 2-1, but I mean, this guy did not look good against the Washington Commanders, who, I mean, underrated defense for sure, but I mean, he just does not look good. I was gonna make a decision, put Brock Purdy ahead of him, just because Brock Purdy. I mean, what is there to hate about his game? Brock Purdy is just the perfect definition of not making mistakes and making the right reads. Yes, there's a couple throws Brock Purdy makes where you're questioning what is he looking at, what is he seeing, but I mean overall, I just think he's just doing a perfect job. I'm not gonna move him. I would like to see a couple wow me games, where he really shows off some that arm and makes some plays. Dak Prescott. Let's see, what's that? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right around 9, 10 range. Um, he will not be moved because I think him and Jared Goff are on a very similar tier based on their play. They're great quarterbacks. Dak's definitely the more talented quarterback, but I mean, Jared Goff just does everything right. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He gets the ball to the right players, doesn't turn the ball over. He's throwing high percentage throws, and he's not going to make his team a Super Bowl contender on his own, but he's definitely going to manage that offense and allow them to succeed. I mean, so with that being said, move a couple people down a couple tiers, a couple points, and like I said, left to right is how I rate them in each tier. Let me know what y'all think about this tier list. I think, yet again, it's still an honest job. Yeah, like I said, the people on the bottom of the screen, some of these guys don't touch the list. Desmond Ridder staying down there. Bryce Young staying down there. Their most competitive game was with him not playing. And I still think Bryce Young is going to be a superstar in this league. But he needs time to, figure everything out. He's definitely in the worst offensive system compared to the 3 rookie quarterbacks taken. Zach Wilson, undoubtedly, I don't even need to discuss him. Jets, the Jets just picked up Trevor Siemian. So, Zach Wilson's job is about to be lost. He's not even going to be in the NFL no more. Yeah, Sam Howell, I don't even need to really speak on that. 4 interceptions last week, nothing. Kenny Pickett, too. Should have had a pick 6 against my Raiders, but Marcus Peters dropped an absolute dime. Yeah, like I said, let me know what y'all think. Overall, I think it's a good list. I think it's a good list. I think it's a respectful list. All right, here we are into our team list. I mean, from top to bottom, this is where Caleb Williams comes into play. This is basically the Caleb Williams lottery. Who wants it? Who wants it the most? Who wants it the bad? Who wants it bad? I mean, you're definitely going to see some of these teams start trading some pieces away if they lose another game or two. But yeah, obviously, number one, like I've always stated in any of my videos I talk about, number one's undisputed. You have to dethrone the king to become the king. You know what I'm saying? Well, just won a Super Bowl last year, 2 times Super Bowl champs, 2 times with Mahomes. That elite offense, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, and the Swifties. Travis Kelce and the Swifties now hottest thing in the true fact. I thought this was crazy, right? Travis Kelce. Merchandise percentage went up 400% once seen on video with Taylor Swift. So the Swifties are going crazy. You know how it is. Man, that's insane to say. But the number 2 team on the tier list, I think it speaks for itself. They haven't messed up. They've played. They haven't played down to opponents. They've dominated in basically every win they've played. The Rams game, I thought was gonna get a little close, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, this team is just dominant. It is who it is. It was a team that's undefeated with Brock Purdy. It's a team that was one elbow away, possibly from dethroning the Eagles in the NFC. So yeah, I think this speaks for itself. I think this is non-arguing. This is just how it is. I mean, this the top 2 teams are undebatable. Number 3, I will give this to the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, they just had that embarrassing loss to Arizona, but we cannot knock the fact it happens to the best of us. Teams play down to another team's level, and then this is exactly what happens. I mean, we've seen Dak Prescott shine for show. You know what I'm saying? One red zone pick when they needed it most, but it is what it is. And excuse me, this is a tough how I would rank them. I mean, just because I think the Eagles are overall a better team, more proven. They've won the division, but I mean the Cowboys have really. You know what? I'm gonna go with Eagles at number two. Excuse me, Eagles at number three. Eagles at number three. Why? Won the division last year, basically against that same defense. Cowboys just lost Trayvon Diggs. That's gonna be a huge piece they're gonna be missing. We just seen Arizona run for 222 yards against the Cowboys. I mean, yes, Jalen Hurts has been struggling, hasn't been looking like himself. But if the biggest issue with the offense, similar to Kansas City up until last week, is the fact that your quarterback is not having the best success throwing the ball downfield, but you're still running the ball for 130 yards with one back each week, 180 yards or four. I mean, it's like I said, it's the best issue to have, especially when you know what type of QB you have, and you know what I'm saying. So with that being said, boom, number one quarterback team. Excuse me, number one playoff team. Got to give it to Miami Dolphins. I think it's said on its own. Ravens will fall in here, fall in that tier of teams. Chicago, number one pick contention. I mean, come on, bro. Jalen Hurts has played some of the worst football. Excuse me. Justin Fields has played some of the worst football I think I've ever seen in my young adult life. I mean, the Saints, but nah, they should definitely be a playoff team. They should definitely win that division unless Tampa Bay comes here and makes a run. Chargers. I mean, 1-2 start. Can they pick it up? Can they start winning games? Can they start? I'm putting them in a potential wild card spot. I think it speaks for itself. How they've been in the past. They've only made the playoffs once since Justin Herbert's been there. But I mean, this is the year for them to do it. So they better get their stuff together and start winning games, start putting stuff together. Green Bay is gonna be one of those. Ooh, I lied. Potential wild cards got to be. I mean, they're probably going to end up winning the division, depending. Because, I mean, the Vikings 0-3 start right now. Who knows if they're going to bounce back? Who knows what's going on with everybody else? Who do I got to win that division? I got to give it to Detroit. I got to go. That's a little biased pick right there. Detroit Lions, let's ride. Barry Sanders needs one. He's been hanging around the facility a lot. So, that's something you love to see. I mean, again, Arizona Cardinals. Yes, they just beat the Dallas Cowboys, but they are trying to tank. Let me tell you, they want the number one overall pick. It's not. They have two picks for this next upcoming draft, and so they want that spot. Washington, I think, is another young but intriguing team. They got some good pieces, but again, Sam Howell, I'm not sold on him. I mean, 4 INTs last week. I don't have to really explain for itself. Potential wild cards. Oh, nah, they're definitely gonna end up winning that division. I don't think Tennessee got it. It's got it like that. Panthers 0-3, young but intriguing. I'm gonna put them in there because that defense is looking better. They definitely look the best out of the three. Out of that 4 to 5 teams right there. I mean, Washington Commanders, yes, they got 2 wins, but I mean, once Bryce Young starts putting it together, they're going to definitely be in a better situation. And I don't think they're in a position where it's all about tanking for that number one spot. Potential wild cards, I got them missing. As elite as his defense is, if Deshaun Watson does not get to where he's got to be, it's we don't, that he's going to hold them back. He's basically going to hold them back. You know what, just for the sake of it, I'm going to put him right here. Potential wild card because I'm not sold on the Steelers. Steelers missing playoffs. I mean, I just don't see it happening. And my Raiders, I mean, mediocre at best is what it looks like right now. 1-2. Jimmy G's got what? 6 INTs on the season. It's not something you want to see. Buffalo Bengals. Excuse me. Cincinnati Bengals playoff team. You know what's going to happen. I got Tampa Bay right there ahead of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got to see more from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before I really, make a decision on where this is going. Seattle Seahawks. Do I see enough in Geno Smith to make a run in the division? I do not know. I will definitely put them behind the Chargers. I think that's well deserved. Even though Atlanta has started hot and started 2-1, I don't think Desmond Ritter is what they need to win games. And then, the New York Jets. Now, I don't know how Trevor Simeon's going to hang, but I'm going to throw him right here just because of the fact they're one QB away from really making some noise. And then again, Indianapolis Colts, put them right there above the Steelers, behind the Falcons. It's a great football team right there. Texans, 1-2, so I'm gonna put them behind the Commanders in respect to their one win. All right, young but intriguing teams. And why is the Raiders the only one mediocre at best? Is because we'll find a way to win 6 or 7 games, and even if fucks up our draft pick and having a chance at a top pick. Why? Because I have no idea. But that's just that's just how it's going. And then obviously, I don't know where to put this based on the tier, just because Minnesota Vikings, I know they're 0-3. I'm gonna go with mediocre. Nah, I gotta throw them out there. They're one of the worst teams in football right now. So let's go right there. Boom. Number one pick contention. Tennessee, mediocre at best. I don't think. Definitely, as of right now, definitely gotta be rated higher than my Raiders. Ooh, I just that young and but intriguing is really why I do not put them in this tier. Personally, the Raiders would probably be below the Commanders right now. Obviously, the Patriots got their first win. Slide them in right there. Boom. Rams. The Rams can slide in with us. They can hop in our tier. Buffalo Bills. They should be a playoff team. So should Miami. So let's go potential wild card for the Bills. Boom. Right there. And the New York Football Giants. Mediocre at best. I'm putting them right in front of the Raiders. And again, I would put the Commanders right in front of the Raiders, but the Commanders have so much young talent on this team that it's only right to put them in the young but intriguing team. Doesn't necessarily mean I would rank them higher right now. I think the Commanders overall have showed more than what the Raiders have. But that young but intriguing is really what makes me put them specifically in that tier. With that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all appreciated me updating my team tier list. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think of my Caleb Williams tier tank list. And yeah, let me know what QBs y'all think I rated too highly, or how other ways I should really start rating my quarterbacks. And let me know what y'all think about the stuff I'm posting, if y'all enjoy it, if y'all appreciate it, and all that good stuff. With that being said, like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate y'all for sitting through and listening and watching a video with me. Peace. Deuces.